Got a very interesting article here, well, an interview anyway, with Johnny Depp, where he does sort of slam Hollywood for sure, which I think is justified at this stage, at this point in time. And it's just it's an all-encompassing interview, and it's interesting to get his insights. So we'll dive into this today. Hit subscribe if you're new here, and turn the bell notifications on. Like I said, it's a well-rounded interview, but he does take aim very firmly at Hollywood and Hollywood producers and things like that. So it's an interesting one because, again, he just recently was, not necessarily making his comeback, but he is starring in films again. So, yeah, I like the fact that he's still slamming Hollywood, and rightly so. So let's take a look. Johnny Depp, quote, "I'm not remotely close to being normal." Good. Normal is boring. Anyway, so he says this, or at least one of their main quotes anyway. "I've been scrutinised since I was 23 years old. Now I'm kicking 60 in the ass. That's a long time." Which is true. You know, loads of people keep, well, there was anyway, a whole bunch of abuse hurled at him during the trial because of, what he looked like and things like this. And I think it's important to note that, this is a 60-year-old man, for goodness sake. We'll get in there anyway. He's not going to be fit as a fiddle as he was back in the day. He's just simply not going to be, especially when you just begin to enjoy life and indulge in life. Not that there's anything wrong with that or right with that. It's personal preference. But yeah, people do forget how old he is, actually. So anyway, Johnny Depp, one of the world's most famous faces, is relaxing, adorned with tattoos and silver rings on a hotel rooftop on the French Riviera. He's conversational, friendly, and refreshingly honest. Unlike a lot of Hollywood. So he says, "I've been very lucky, and I can't complain about anything. None of it. I won't. But fame does funny things to a man. The thing hits you, and then you can't go anywhere without people looking at you. And it's a very interesting way to grow up. But after 38 years of something like that, he trails off for a second, collecting his thoughts. The first thing that's really mad is to expect anyone who's lived in that kind of situation to be anything remotely close to normal," which is true. But I think as grounded as you can be for going through all of that, I think he's as close to that as you could be, to be fair. And he says the following. "Now, to make matters worse, I wasn't normal before that, so I've had to adapt my world into the way that I have to live. How do I live? I live behind windows. I live behind car windows, train windows, plane windows, hotel room fucking windows." And he goes further. "With the release of Depp's new movie, Jean de Barry, the word comeback is on everyone's lips," which is true. This is the sort of comeback thing I mentioned at the start. "Certainly, it's a treacherous period of his career, following the ugly fallout around his marriage to former wife Amber Heard. In 2020, he lost his libel case against the Sun newspaper, which branded him a wife-beater. Dropped from the Fantastic Beasts film franchise, he's been persona non grata in Hollywood ever since. And a fat lot of good that's done certain franchises. Fantastic Beasts, for instance, that bombed. It's not looking like you're going to get a good Pirates of the Caribbean film anytime soon either. So, well done. So for the past few years, though, he's found work in European cinema films, such as Waiting for the Barbarians, Minamata, and now Jean de Barry. So when French director Mai Wen asked him to play King Louis XV, opposite her turn as the ruler's last mistress, Jean, Depp says his thought process went something like this. "Haven't done this before. There's a possibility of total failure. I could fall flat on my face. I like it. It's what I should do." Which is good. And this is some of the screen grabs from the film. It looks great. There's such rich history as well. So, it's an interesting one. So, speaking his role in French, learned from his time with singer-actress Vanessa Paradis, the mother of his children, Lily Rose and Jack Depp dug in. "I was in the trenches with Mai Wen and the rest of the crew. I did the best I could. I did what I felt was right for the character and for the story and for Mai Wen. So if it works, I'm a lucky motherfucker. Really lucky." So now 60, Depp was surprised he was invited to play such an iconic figure in French history. Actually, when we met, I asked Mai Wen, "Are you sure you don't want a French actor?" Again, for someone who says I'm not normal and I wasn't normal before, he's remarkably normal and down to earth. The film is a fine balance of drama with comedy, not least with every courtier shuffles backwards as they leave the room, because no one is allowed to turn their backs on King Louis. He was a complicated guy. I thought it was important to start defining the character, showing he was not, as they say, completely feather in the arse, says Depp. there was a humanity to him. It's as if his appendix burst and suddenly everything changed. The film marks a rare period piece for Depp, unless you count the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, in which he plays Jack Sparrow. So he says also, when you're walking through Versailles and you hear in the distance the dim, the murmur, the people at the extras, and then you turn the corner and you're in a mirrored corridor and suddenly it's time travel. It was quite shocking, but oddly, it was never uncomfortable. It felt like home. Is it any wonder he felt like a king? For much of his career, Depp has experienced what it's like to be revered. They have some awful formatting here. Toby, Depaz, awful, awful. By and large, for the majority of the years I've been wandering around aimlessly talking to people, they really want the same thing. They don't want to be fed DRECK. This is him slamming Hollywood in general. They don't want to be fed DRECK. They're happy when they experience something new or different. So that's why I've always felt as an actor, it's your responsibility when you come out of the gate each time, you're putting as much at stake as anybody. Good. Given he hasn't worked in Hollywood for years, and he quotes, "They threw me in the bin," Depp isn't fussed about ripping into the studio heads. Again, this is brilliant stuff. And he's not wrong. They're disposable and they realise it. Glorified accountants who have the ability to press the green light and make studio films. But they press the green light. They spent shitloads of money. Budgets are ridiculous on these films. Some romantic comedy with two very popular people. People, the real people. They're sick of it. Where's the lie? I mean, that is it. That is the whole interview. But he's not wrong. And I thought I'd cover it all because, again, you know, there's some stuff at the end, Hollywood, some stuff at the start, and it just builds a better picture of him as he is now. What a well-rounded guy for someone that claims he's abnormal, no close to being normal, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's very normal, very based, very just down-to-earth, very normal, middle-of-the-road chap. And I love this stuff, and just the way he rips into them. Glorified accountants. They're disposable. They feed people DRECK. He's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. And again, I just love the approach. So what do you guys think? Haven't done a Depp video in a long, long time. Some of you may have even subscribed specifically because of my Depp and Heard coverage back in the day. What was it, 2 years ago now? Wow, that's crazy. Crazy to think 2 years ago that cultural phenomenon happened. And it is truly a cultural phenomenon. It gripped everyone. So what do you guys think? Is he making a comeback? I mean, it seems like it. He's getting interviews now where the media is very nice to him. We wouldn't have got this a while ago, so it is fascinating stuff. But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts down below. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.